Davos 2025, Trump unveils ambitious economic agenda amid global uncertainty. Date, January 24, 2025. Location, World Economic Forum, Davos, Switzerland. Overview. The World Economic Forum WEF annual meeting in Davos 2025 marked a significant moment in global economic discourse as Donald Trump, freshly inaugurated for his second term as President of the United States, presented an ambitious economic agenda. His virtual address to top business leaders and global policymakers set the tone for a future characterized by deregulation and a focus on revitalizing the U.S. economy amidst ongoing global uncertainty. Key themes and insights. 1. Economic growth and deregulation. Trump emphasized a robust commitment to economic growth, stating, "There will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA." He reiterated plans to reduce the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15% for companies manufacturing domestically, framing this as a vital strategy to stimulate job creation. Business leaders from firms like BlackRock and Bank of America echoed Trump's sentiments, expressing optimism about the potential for economic growth under his administration. 2. Global trade and tariffs. The discussions at Davos were tempered by concerns over Trump's protectionist policies, particularly his willingness to impose tariffs on major economies like China, Canada, and Mexico. While some economists warned of inflationary pressures stemming from these tariffs, others remained cautiously optimistic, suggesting that they could lead to renegotiated bilateral trade agreements. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the WTO, urged cautious optimism regarding the outcomes of Trump's trade policies. 3. Geopolitical dynamics. Trump's return to the White House has sparked renewed discussions surrounding the U.S. role in international alliances. European leaders emphasized the necessity for unity and strategic collaboration, particularly in light of rising geopolitical tensions. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky voiced concerns regarding NATO's future under Trump's leadership, stressing the need for Europe to assert its importance on the global stage. 4. Technological innovation and climate goals. Chief economists at the forum highlighted the transformative potential of technologies like artificial intelligence (AI) as key growth drivers, yet they cautioned that the landscape remains fraught with challenges. European leaders reaffirmed their commitment to climate initiatives, arguing that the European Green Deal is crucial even amid potential setbacks from U.S. policies. 5. Immigration and labor market impacts. Trump's stringent immigration policies have raised alarms about potential labor shortages in the U.S. economy. Experts noted that while such policies might create opportunities for neighboring countries like Honduras, they could lead to significant unemployment in Mexico and other regions. 6. Crypto and digital assets. Trump's address also ignited optimism within the cryptocurrency sector, with industry leaders anticipating a favorable regulatory environment under his administration. His declaration to become the first crypto president hinted at increased innovation and investment in digital assets. Differing perspectives. Source 1 emphasized the broader implications of Trump's policies on global trade and geopolitical stability. Source 2 focused on Trump's direct comments during his address and the positive reception from business executives, highlighting his deregulation agenda and trade policy concerns. Source 3 provided a multimedia recap of Trump's economic agenda without delving deeply into the nuances of international responses or economic forecasts. Timeline of events. January 20, 2025, Trump is inaugurated for his second term. January 23, 2025, Trump delivers a virtual address at Davos outlining his economic agenda, including deregulation and tax cuts. Subsequent days, global leaders and economists engage in discussions reflecting on the implications of Trump's policies on trade, technology, and geopolitical relations. Conclusion. Davos 2025 served as a pivotal platform for dialogue on Trump's ambitious economic agenda. global leaders grappled with the complexities of fostering cooperation, navigating trade dynamics, and embracing technological advancements against a backdrop of uncertainty. As Trump's policies unfold, the international community remains watchful, balancing optimism with caution in an increasingly interconnected world. The content surrounding Donald Trump's address at Davos 2025 reveals several counterintuitive insights regarding economic policies, global trade dynamics, and geopolitical relations that challenge conventional wisdom. 1. Deregulation versus economic stability. While it is widely believed that deregulation drives economic growth, Trump's emphasis on slashing regulatory burdens may not necessarily lead to a robust economy. Historical evidence suggests that while deregulation can spur short-term growth, it can also lead to long-term instability in industries, particularly if safety and environmental standards are compromised. The assertion that America will be the best place to build companies overlooks the potential for unchecked business practices to create crises as seen in previous economic downturns. 2. Protectionism and trade relationships. Trump's protectionist policies, including the imposition of tariffs, are expected to create inflationary pressures, contradicting the notion that such measures will protect domestic jobs and industries. While some economists argue that tariffs can lead to renegotiated trade agreements, history shows that trade wars often lead to retaliation, harming both domestic consumers and the economy. The optimism surrounding negotiable tariffs fails to account for the complexities of international relations where reciprocity is not guaranteed. 3. Optimism in the face of labor shortages. Trump's strict immigration stance is framed as a means to protect American jobs, however. Experts warn that this could exacerbate labor shortages in key sectors. The idea that reducing immigration will bolster job security for Americans overlooks the reality that many industries rely on immigrant labor to fill gaps that cannot be met by the domestic workforce. The prediction that neighboring countries will benefit while Mexico faces unemployment presents a paradox in the regional economic landscape. 4. Crypto regulation and innovation. Trump's ambition to become the first crypto president is positioned as a signal for a favorable regulatory environment for digital assets. However, the notion that increased regulation will necessarily lead to innovation is counterintuitive. In many cases, excessive regulation stifles creativity and growth in emerging sectors. The expectation that the U.S. will lead in crypto innovation contradicts the experiences of other countries where unregulated markets have seen faster growth and adoption. 5. Climate goals amid economic agenda. Trump's proposed economic agenda seems at odds with global climate goals, particularly as European leaders emphasize their commitment to sustainability despite potential setbacks from U.S. policies. The expectation that technological advancements will offset the negative impacts of deregulation on climate initiatives overlooks the fact that without robust regulatory frameworks, innovation may not be directed towards sustainable solutions. 6. Geopolitical cooperation versus national interests. Discussions surrounding NATO and the U.S.'s role in global alliances under Trump's leadership reveal a tension between national interests and international cooperation. While Trump's approach is framed as a demand for respect from other nations, this could lead to a fracturing of long-standing alliances. The notion that the U.S. can maintain its influence while adopting a more isolationist stance challenges the conventional belief that global cooperation is essential for addressing transnational challenges. 7. Historical lessons ignored. Economists and leaders reflecting on Trump's first term suggest that lessons from past experiences with tariffs and protectionism have not been fully integrated into current policy discussions. The expectation that a new approach will yield different results ignores the cyclical nature of economic history, where similar policies have led to adverse outcomes in the past. 8. Optimism despite inflationary pressures. The general consensus among economists is that Trump's policies will lead to increased inflation rates. Yet there remains a sense of optimism regarding economic growth. This paradox highlights a disconnect between short-term optimism driven by deregulation and long-term economic fundamentals that suggest rising costs could erode purchasing power and economic stability. In summary, the discussions at Davos 2025 present a complex interplay of optimism and skepticism regarding Trump's economic agenda. Many assumptions about deregulation, protectionism, and innovation are being challenged, suggesting a need for a more nuanced understanding of how these policies will unfold in a global context marked by uncertainty. In the report on Davos 2025, several significant aspects of Donald Trump's ambitious economic agenda and its implications for global dynamics are highlighted. While much of the coverage tends to focus on the immediate and apparent elements, such as tax cuts, deregulation, and trade tariffs, there are deeper nuances and potential repercussions that may be overlooked by many readers. Here are key points that warrant closer examination along with explanations of their significance. 1. Deregulation as a double-edged sword. Trump's emphasis on deregulation, particularly in his claim of initiating the largest deregulation campaign in history, is significant not only for its potential economic impacts but also for its long-term implications for industries such as environmental protection and public health. While proponents argue that deregulation can stimulate economic growth and job creation, critics caution that it may lead to environmental degradation and increased risks to public safety. Significance. The balance between regulatory frameworks and economic growth is a critical area of contention. The deregulation agenda could lead to short-term economic boosts, but if it results in significant environmental or health crises, the long-term costs could far outweigh these gains. Examining the historical context of deregulation in previous administrations could provide insights into potential outcomes. 2. Impact of tariffs on global trade dynamics. Trump's potential return to protectionism, particularly through tariffs on major economies like China, Canada, and Mexico, raises complex questions about the future of international trade. While Trump asserts that tariffs will protect American jobs, there are significant risks of retaliation and trade wars which could lead to inflation and decreased consumer choice. Significance. The implications of a trade war extend beyond immediate economic impacts. They can reshape global supply chains, influence diplomatic relations, and affect global economic stability. A nuanced examination of how similar policies have played out in the past could shed light on the potential consequences of Trump's approach. 3. Geopolitical stability and U.S. alliances. The return of Trump raises questions about the U.S.'s role in global geopolitics, particularly regarding NATO and alliances with European nations. Concerns voiced by leaders like Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky highlight uncertainties about U.S. commitment to collective defense under a Trump administration, which may lead to a recalibration of alliances. Significance. The fragility of international alliances in the face of unpredictable U.S. foreign policy can have profound implications for global security. An analysis of how U.S. foreign policy shifts have historically impacted alliances would provide valuable context for understanding potential future scenarios. 4. Technological innovation versus regulatory constraints. Trump's focus on technologies like artificial intelligence as drivers for economic growth is significant, especially in the context of his deregulation agenda. However, the implications of deregulating technology sectors need careful consideration, particularly regarding issues like data privacy, cybersecurity, and ethical AI deployment. Significance. The rapid advancement of technology without adequate regulatory oversight may lead to ethical dilemmas and societal challenges, including privacy concerns and job displacement. The tension between fostering innovation and ensuring responsible technology use is a critical conversation that merits deeper exploration. 5. Immigration policies and labor markets. Trump's strict immigration policies raise important concerns about labor shortages, particularly in key sectors like agriculture and services that rely heavily on immigrant workers. The potential for increased unemployment in neighboring countries like Mexico, as highlighted by experts, indicates that U.S. immigration policies can have far-reaching regional impacts. Significance. The interplay between immigration and labor dynamics is essential in shaping economic policies. Understanding the broader implications of immigration on workforce availability and economic stability in neighboring countries is crucial for comprehensive policymaking. 6. The rise of cryptocurrency and regulatory challenges. Trump's embrace of cryptocurrency and his ambition to be the first crypto president is noteworthy, as it reflects a significant shift in the governmental approach to digital assets. While this could stimulate innovation, it also raises questions about consumer protection and regulatory frameworks. Significance: the burgeoning cryptocurrency market presents both opportunities and risks. A thorough examination of the potential for regulatory frameworks that balance innovation with consumer protection could be pivotal in shaping the future financial landscape. 7. The European response to U.S. economic policies. European leaders' calls for unity and strategic cooperation in response to Trump's economic agenda highlight the potential for a shift in economic power dynamics. The European Green Deal's emphasis on climate goals amidst U.S. policy fluctuations illustrates the divergent paths that could emerge between the U.S. and Europe. Significance: the potential for Europe to assert itself as a leader in climate policy and sustainable economic practices could redefine global economic relationships. Analyzing how such a shift could impact international trade investment and environmental standards is essential for understanding future global economic frameworks. Conclusion: while the report on Davos 2025 presents a comprehensive overview of Trump's economic agenda, the complexities and potential long-term repercussions of these policies require deeper scrutiny. The intersection of economic, geopolitical, and technological factors points to a future that may be shaped by both opportunity and risk. Understanding these underlying dynamics is critical for stakeholders across sectors as they navigate an increasingly uncertain global landscape. 1. Economic growth and deregulation. Donald Trump's emphasis on deregulation as a cornerstone of his economic agenda is significant. He proposed reducing the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15% for companies manufacturing in the U.S., aiming to create jobs and stimulate economic activity. This approach aligns with the sentiments of business leaders present at Davos, who expressed optimism about the potential for growth under Trump's policies. An in-depth analysis could explore the historical context of deregulation, its impacts on different sectors, and the balance between fostering economic growth and ensuring necessary regulatory protections. 2. Global trade and tariffs. Trump's protectionist stance, particularly his plans to impose tariffs on countries like China, Canada, and Mexico, introduces a complex dynamic to global trade relations. While some economists warn of potential inflationary pressures, others suggest that these tariffs could be negotiable and lead to bilateral agreements. An analysis could delve into the implications of these tariffs on international trade, the potential for retaliatory measures, and their long-term effects on the U.S. economy and its trading partners. 3. Geopolitical dynamics. The return of Trump has prompted discussions about the U.S. role in global alliances, particularly concerning NATO and relations with European nations. Leaders have expressed concerns about the future of these alliances under Trump's administration. A thorough examination of the geopolitical ramifications of Trump's policies, including the response of European leaders and potential shifts in global power dynamics, would provide valuable insights into the broader context of international relations and security. 4. Technological innovation and climate goals. Trump's administration is positioned to focus on technological advancements such as artificial intelligence while also addressing climate goals. European leaders emphasized the importance of maintaining commitment to climate initiatives like the European Green Deal despite potential challenges posed by U.S. policies. An analysis could investigate the intersection of technological innovation, climate policy, and economic growth, particularly how competing national agendas may shape the future of global sustainability efforts. 1. The New Deal 1933 to 1939. The New Deal was a series of programs and reforms enacted by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in response to the Great Depression. Similar to Trump's ambitions, it aimed at economic recovery through deregulation, job creation, and infrastructure development. Roosevelt's policies included the establishment of the Social Security system and various public works projects which sought to revitalize the American economy in a time of great uncertainty. 2. Reaganomics 1980s. Under President Ronald Reagan, the U.S. adopted a set of economic policies known as Reaganomics, which emphasized tax cuts, deregulation, and a reduction in government spending. Reagan's administration aimed to stimulate economic growth through supply-side economics. Similar to Trump's proposed corporate tax cuts and deregulation efforts in his recent agenda. Reaganomics was characterized by a focus on increasing private sector production and job growth, paralleling Trump's current economic objectives. 3. China's economic reform 1978-present. Initiated by Deng Xiaoping, China's economic reforms aimed to transition the country from a command economy to a market-oriented economy. These reforms included deregulation, opening up to foreign investment, and introducing market mechanisms. The agenda was ambitious and aimed to spur rapid economic growth and development, much like Trump's focus on revitalizing American manufacturing and encouraging business investment. The impact of these reforms has led to significant economic transformation and global integration, raising questions about international trade dynamics similar to those currently discussed at Davos regarding Trump's policies. Future outlook: Davos 2025 and implications of Trump's economic agenda. As Donald Trump reclaims the presidency in 2025. His ambitious economic agenda outlined at the World Economic Forum (WEF) in Davos is poised to reshape both the U.S. and global economic landscapes. This new direction is marked by a commitment to deregulation, tax cuts, and protectionist trade policies, which bring both opportunities and challenges. The predictions for the future are influenced by several key themes discussed at Davos. 1. Economic growth and deregulation. Trump's focus on deregulation is expected to stimulate the U.S. economy significantly. By proposing a reduction in the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%, particularly for domestic manufacturers, he aims to encourage job creation and business expansion. Economists predict that this could lead to a short-term economic boost, with many projecting an uptick in investment and consumer confidence. However, the long-term sustainability of this growth may depend on how effectively these policies are implemented and whether they can withstand potential inflationary pressures. 2. Global trade dynamics. Trump's inclination towards imposing tariffs raises concerns about a potential trade war, especially with major economies like China and Canada. While some economists suggest that these tariffs may be negotiable and could lead to improved bilateral trade agreements, the uncertainty they introduce poses risks to global trade stability. The prospect of higher consumer prices and retaliatory measures from affected countries could dampen the anticipated economic benefits. The global economy may experience volatility as nations adjust to the new trade landscape created by Trump's policies. 3. Geopolitical tensions. Trump's return has reignited discussions about the U.S.'s role in global alliances and its foreign policy. European leaders stress the importance of unity and strategic cooperation in addressing rising geopolitical tensions, particularly concerning NATO and relations with Russia. As Trump navigates these complexities, his administration's approach to international diplomacy will be crucial in determining the future of U.S. alliances and global stability. 4. Technological innovation and climate goals. The emphasis on technological advancement, particularly in artificial intelligence and clean energy, is seen as both an opportunity and a challenge. While Trump's administration may foster a favorable environment for innovation, experts warn that the tension between pro-business deregulation and climate commitments could lead to conflicts. European leaders reaffirmed their commitment to the Green Deal, indicating that global cooperation on climate goals may face hurdles under Trump's policies. 5. Labor market and immigration policy. Stricter immigration policies are expected to exacerbate labor shortages in the U.S. economy, particularly in sectors reliant on immigrant labor. This could create economic opportunities for neighboring countries such as Honduras, while simultaneously causing economic distress in Mexico due to rising unemployment. The future labor landscape in the U.S. will hinge on how immigration and labor policies evolve under Trump's administration. 6. Cryptocurrency and digital assets. Trump's enthusiasm for cryptocurrency is likely to invigorate the sector with expectations for a more favorable regulatory environment. His ambition to position himself as the first crypto president could lead to increased innovation and investment in digital assets. However, the actual impact will depend on how these regulations are structured and whether they promote growth without compromising consumer protections. Conclusion: navigating uncertainty ahead. The future outlook following Trump's economic agenda as presented at Davos 2025 suggests a complex interplay of growth opportunities and geopolitical challenges. While some sectors may thrive under deregulation and tax incentives, the risks associated with trade tensions, labor market shifts, and climate commitments present a precarious balance. As global leaders and economists monitor the unfolding effects of Trump's policies, a cautious yet optimistic approach will be essential in navigating the uncertainties ahead. The potential for economic revitalization exists, but its realization will depend on strategic decision-making and international cooperation in the face of evolving global dynamics.